Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Super Lunch Bros Podcast, episode number 159. I am Brendan. PFL 2022 playoffs have started. They have begun. We just had the light heavyweight and the lightweight semifinals, so all these winners are moving on to the finals for the chance to win $1 million. Pretty cool. Love the PFL. I've talked about it all season. I love this stuff. It's fantastic. We're going to talk about Anthony Pettis versus Stevie Ray, Josh Silveira versus Omari Akhmedov, Olivier Mercier versus Alexander Martinez, and Robert Wilkinson versus Monte. So this is just the main card if you're looking for the prelims. I actually didn't watch those. I can, if you guys would really like me to break the prelims down on the PFL, I can, but so far the interest just hasn't been there. That being said, if you are into MMA, if you're into the UFC, PFL, Bellator, I cover all of them. So please subscribe to the channel. That way you'll know when the next video is coming out, and I would really appreciate it. Let's get started. Cool. Main event here. By the way, a little behind-the-scenes stuff. I recorded this once already, and my audio is screwed up. So here we go again. It might be a little more brief than I would like. I might not get into all the things that I talked about before. If you guys really want the Snyder cut, I could release the one with shitty audio. But let's look at Anthony Pettis versus Stevie Ray, number 2. So these individuals just fought a couple months ago in the regular season. Stevie Ray getting the body lock triangle on him, and then Pettis trying to turn around in it. Couldn't turn around, got stuck halfway, and Ray squeezed him in getting the modified twister choke, or twister submission, which the commentary team is now calling the Scottish twister, which I love. So Stevie Ray getting the win here yet again. He is not a flash in the pan. It was not... how do I put this? It was not a fluke win by any means because this one was drawn out. It was a 3-round decision. On the feet early, Pettis looked really good, landing hard body kicks. Ray was going for a takedown, and he got some decent ground and pound with it, and then he ended up going for a north-south choke. The first round went to Stevie Ray, in my opinion. 10-9 for him. I mean, the FPR agrees with me as well as pretty much everyone else. 51-41. Is in favor of Ray. I think he just did more in that round with the damage and also going for that submission, even if though it wasn't looking too dangerous. It still was enough to swing that round for him. Second round, Ray kept the pressure forward, and Pettis tried to slow him down by landing some decent kicks, and he landed some good body kicks, but eventually Ray did get the takedown, got the back, and put in the body triangle, and we thought we were going to see a repeat of the first one, but Pettis obviously learned his lesson, did not try to spin in it, and just sat there. Kind of a boring round, kind of a nothing round, but Ray definitely winning that one. Up 20-18 on my card. And then in this last round, Stevie Ray was kind of slowing down. He was moving much slower. He's getting tagged by those Pettis shots. The body shots started to add up, it looked like, and he was doing a little bit of grappling, keeping things close when he could, but Pettis was trying to bash him and keep him away. Pettis did win this round, in my opinion, so I had it 29-28 in favor of Ray, but Pettis just did not do enough in that last round to get the win. It's unfortunate because Pettis, after leaving the UFC, I'm guessing he had very high hopes, and everybody else around him probably told him, it's an easy $1 million. Go in there, win your shit, and get out. That's just not been the case. I think I've talked about this before. Anthony Pettis has a certain fighting style and a certain skill set that makes him very streaky. I said this last time, and I'll say it again. I really think the reason why he won that belt in the UFC was just really good timing. Okay, and not in-fight, like striking timing, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about like calendar timing. It worked out to where the people that he was facing either weren't up to snuff in the division, weren't the highest level of competition, or they were the highest level of competition and he just matched up really well, or they had an off night. Whatever it is, he just benefited from that timing because we can see ever since that loss to RDA, Rafael dos Anjos, there's a clear path to victory against Pettis, and it involves using pressure and grappling when you can, if applicable. And there's just a way to beat Pettis over and over again. We've seen it, you've seen him do flashy things where it looks like he's about to win a fight, but as the level of competition increases and the competency in all aspects of MMA increases, his winning percentage has just gone down so much. I think now he is 20-15 or 25-15. 25 and 14. Sorry. No slouch. Obviously, former UFC champion, good fighter. He won, making his way into the playoffs with that first round finish. So I still think he can have a good career. I think in the PFL, if he sticks around for a couple seasons, he will do fine. I don't know if he's ever going to be the champion unless the stars align. Okay, that's as much as I want to get into that one. I don't want to sit here and disparage the guy because I don't think he's a bad fighter. All right, moving on here. Let's go to Omari Akhmedov versus Josh Silveira. Oh, by the way, like I said at the top, all of these fighters who win, all the winners from these fights are going to the championship, and I will break down a little bit of my prediction for how those championship fights are probably going to go down, in my opinion on them. So Omari Akhmedov just getting it done again, this time via decision. You know, you can say what you want about him in the UFC and his cardio issues. It did not play a part in this one. All 3 rounds, he just kept moving forward. Josh wanted to keep the distance. Josh was the favorite here. He was using kicks and jabs and movement to stay out of range, but Omari landed enough in that first round to take it for me. I had him up going into the second. There was a takedown from Josh in the second round, and honestly, he's the one who looked gassed. So all this talk about Omari's cardio and how, that's going to be the factor, and as the fight goes on, Silveira's going to, start to walk away with it. That's not the case. It's not what happened. Omari looked fine. I don't know if it was because Josh didn't grapple enough with him or didn't challenge him enough or make him work hard enough, but Akhmedov's cardio looked fine. And, in that second round, it was close, and you could maybe give it to Josh or Omari. I was leaning towards Josh when I watched it live, so I'm going to go with that. But I'm okay with Akhmedov also getting that second round. And then in the third round here, Josh just didn't do enough. Omari landed more, landed clean, landed big shots. Easy round for him. I had him winning 29-28 as well as one judge did. But, the other 2 judges had it 30-27, which like I said, I am more than okay with. I totally understand that. All right, let's talk about the other lightweight semifinal on here. OAM, Olivier Mercier, taking on Alexander Martinez, getting the job done yet again, this time via different strategy. So he opened up with a much different striking style by moving forward and actually throwing punches. So he was the one doing the striking, and in this first round, you would have expected Alexander Martinez to have the better striking just because OAM isn't known for it. You would expect Martinez to have the power. OAM seemed to have the power. He landed the bigger shots. He did the damage, and I gave him that first round. In the second round, OAM rocked Martinez with a left hand and put him down on the ground, got his back, put a body triangle in, and controlled him in that entire second round, putting him up 20-18. And then in this third round here, more of the same. Landed a left hand, put Alexander Martinez on his ass, got his back, put in the body triangle, and rode out the round like that. Man, OAM moving to the finals here, OAM's taking on Stevie Ray. And, OAM, you can say what you want about him. He just gets the job done so much. He really does. When the level of competition is real high, maybe his strategy doesn't work all the time, or maybe he's more of a 70-30 fighter or a 50-50 fighter at the elite level. That still puts him in elite company, okay? And then in the PFL, he's just doing the damn thing. Now, the fight versus Stevie Ray, how do I think this is going to go down? So they're both large lightweights, okay? If I had to, all things being equal, right? Let's say the grappling's a wash, which I don't think it is, and let's say the striking is a wash, which I kind of don't think it is, but I'll give that one to you. Who's got the better cardio? OAM does. He can work. He keeps his work rate up all the rounds. Every single round, he's just working, doing the damn thing, like I said, and he's just getting the job done over 3 rounds, over 5 rounds. It doesn't taper off. I know he can do that for 5 rounds. Stevie Ray, on the other hand, does get a little bit tired. Now, it's not so bad that he's keeping his hands down and just becoming a punching bag, but doesn't have the cardio and the kind of pressure that OAM can bring. So, all things being equal, I still give the edge to OAM. If you really want to get into it, I think OAM is the better grappler. I think he's a stronger grappler. He's better at maintaining position. He plays a safer game, so he takes position over submission. And then because of that, he gets into situations where the fights can be a little boring. He can grapple and then kind of just clinch and just control the guy, and he doesn't doesn't make it super exciting, but he gets the job done. Whereas Stevie Ray, he can get into that mode too, and his striking is okay, but his grappling is more opportunistic, and he has, forward pressure grappling, and you've seen it against Anthony Pettis. I don't think that's the best telling sign because Anthony Pettis isn't the best wrestler. So, I'm leaning towards OAM. I think he has more ways to get it done. I think he's a better grappler. I think the striking might be a wash, but OAM, based off what I saw in this last fight and what I know from him, I bet you he can hit harder. They both can take a punch. I know that. And the cardio is going to be on OAM's favor. I have him winning that fight 7 times out of 10, right? That's the percentage I put on fights at 70-30. So I wouldn't if I were to put money on it, I put on OAM. I'm not the kind of guy who bets on fights. I think there's too many variables, too much uncertainty, and, it's not something I want to dabble in. You really got to be all in or really enjoy it and love the thrill of gambling on fights, which is not me. All right, let's talk about the first fight on the main card here. Robert Wilkinson taking on Delon Monte. Robert Wilkinson getting the finish in the first round. Something that's interesting that happened before this fight started that I want to just touch on. So before the fight started, the ref went up and I heard him say, "We're not starting until you get one." And usually that means okay, somebody, a glove or the scissors. We need to cut some of the wrap on the gloves or whatever because it's hanging off, so we need scissors. Or, they need to get one. Oh, he needs a mouthpiece. Whatever it might be. Nope. There wasn't an ambulance in the building, which is a requirement to start the fight because the previous two fights ended with a guy taking an ambulance to the hospital. So now there was no ambulance on hand and they couldn't start the fight. Why did they let the fighters go into the cage? It's a very weird decision to let them walk in there, stand around for 2 to 3 minutes waiting for the okay. It's weird. You don't do that. Why wouldn't they just keep them backstage? They had to have known that the ambulance wasn't there, right? I don't know. It was very strange. I've never seen that before. That's a new one for me. But I thought they handled it relatively professionally. Just going to commercial, talking about it, touching on it just a little, not overemphasizing, not blaming anybody, just kind of, addressing the issue at hand. I thought they did a good job because I love Kenny Florian and I love Randy Couture. They're doing an excellent job over there. All right. In this fight, I figured anyway, that Wilkinson would be doing some grappling, changing levels, changing it up, using his grappling to set up his striking if he was even going to strike at all. Definitely doing some clinch work, keeping the power of Delon Monte away from his face. That's not what happened even a little bit. Wilkinson went for, he stayed up top, did some jabs, throwing some right hands, some decent left hands. Monte actually landed a good right hand and backed Wilkinson up to the cage, in which Wilkinson, in defense and through retreating, landed some good damage of his own, including a knee to the solar plexus of Monte. Doing really good damage, and then after the clinch work was done, they reoriented themselves, met in the middle one more time, just started throwing hammers at each other. Monte landed some good shots right to Wilkinson's chin, who ate it, moved forward, landed some good shots of his own, and then finishes with a beautiful knee up the middle, right on the chin of Monte, putting him down, ending the fight. Beautiful finish for him. Fantastic win for Robert Wilkinson. So, great fight, excellent fight for Wilkinson. Excellent victory. I think he has a good chance to win the belt. Speaking of which, he will be facing Omari Akhmedov, who we just talked about, in the finals for light heavyweight. Now, this one's harder for me to break down as far as picking a real definitive winner or someone who I'm leaning towards, because OAM versus Stevie Ray, I can see in my head, I can see a way that fight goes. This one's a little bit harder. It's more of a 50-50 for me, because when I look at Wilkinson and what his path to victory versus Omari Akhmedov's, right? Wilkinson, in my head, Wilkinson's path to victory is wearing down Omari. But that might not work, because we just saw, Akhmedov's cardio looks to be improved based off this last fight. And, we know that Akhmedov has a good chin because he's been tagged and came back and knocked the other guy out. So we know those things. It's hard for me to really put a stamp on who's going to win this. In my head, I just don't even see how it goes officially. I think Wilkinson has more ways to win, including decision victory. Obviously he could land a good shot against Akhmedov. He can get him tired and TKO him. He could even, get something weird could happen. He can get a submission. He can grapple with him, try to tire him out that way. He can even stand on like I said, he could stand on the feet, poke and prod, do some good work to the body. Whereas Akhmedov, you pretty much know what's going to happen. It's big right hands, looking to knock him down, possibly doing ground and pound if he's put in that position, or maybe panic wrestling and getting on top if he's in a daze or he's rocked a little bit. So that's what we're looking at here. And honestly, I can't tell you, based off what I saw in the previous fight, who I'm really favoring in this. My gut tells me Akhmedov's probably going to land a big shot at some point and get the job done. But my brain, the one that's analytical and telling me about all the ways Wilkinson can win, leans towards him because I think there's more ways that Wilkinson wins this fight. And there's more options. It's close, too. Neither one of these guys is so much better than the other that I can see just a blowout victory in any fashion. So that's why I have this a really 50-50 fight. I'm excited to watch it. And, it's light heavyweight, so they're bigger dudes throwing leather. Get a fun knockout and get some fun grappling exchanges, I'm hoping. Maybe some fun submission attempts. I doubt it. It's really, and maybe it's just a banger, a slobber knocker. They stand in the middle and just throw hands, and we see a sloppy, fun fight. Either way, I'm excited for all of it. I'm really excited. This video is a little shorter than my last one. That the audio got screwed up. I'm so upset about it. But if you're looking for the UFC, that's in the next video. This is just the main card. I'm not going over any prelims for PFL. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Please, if you like this stuff, if you made it this far, subscribe to the channel because that way you'll know when my next videos are coming out. I do 2 or 3 videos a week covering the UFC, PFL, Bellator. I cover most of the fights, and I love talking MMA. So if you want to comment down below, let me know what you thought about these fights. Let me know what you thought about my opinions on the fights. Do you agree with me? Do you think the PFL is garbage? Right? You're just watching this and hoping that I shit on it, which I'm not going to. I love the PFL. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you for stopping by. If this is the only video you end up watching, like I said, you are the most, I appreciate it, but you're one of the weirdest hardcore MMA fans I know, only watching PFL breakdown videos and not UFC ones. So good on you. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have an amazing week, and I love y'all.